In 2018, I made a life-changing decision to leave my hometown of Toronto to move to Nosara, Costa Rica. And it has been a beautiful transformational journey living down there. However, I've been gone a year now and I'm not sure when I'm going back. And I wanted to share this video because it's about a journey of leaving home to go find yourself. And this story may resonate with you because many of you may also be wondering what else is out there for you. What would it be like to go live in another country? And I want to share my experience with you because there's a lot of things I've discovered about myself during this journey, and I'm still learning about myself, and I just want to share this experience with you in real time. So first off, I left Toronto because after being in the nightlife and entertainment industry for 25 years, I just knew it was time for a change. And often we have to leave the environment that has the triggers and the old habits and even the old friends that pull us back into that old way of being in order to wipe the slate clean, go somewhere else, be in a new community, and just kind of start over again, which is exactly what I did. I got into the wellness travel industry and started hosting retreats in Nosara, and I was around like-minded people who were deep into the conscious spiritual work, and I could say it was exactly where I needed to be and who I needed to spend time with as I was going through this massive shift in my life. Because, when you make a life-changing decision to leave your career of 25 years, start selling off all your shit and choose to move to another country, there's a good chance a lot of your friends are gonna think you've lost your mind. And when you could be with people who get it because they are also on the same path, it makes a transition smoother. And that is the thing about Nosara and many parts of Costa Rica. They say people either go to Costa Rica because they're hiding from someone or they're trying to find themselves. And for me, I would actually say it was probably a bit of both. I was running away from my old identity and that old lifestyle, which I no longer wanted to really hold on to or embody anymore. And I was really trying to find myself because I was discovering who I was for the first time outside of the identity of being Zark, the King Street Club guy. And just starting all over was very liberating in many ways. Now, in Nosara, there's many people who are deep into the spiritual path. They are, coaches, facilitators, shamans. And then there's also the other side of it of people who've made a lot of money and they've come to Nosara because they're there with their family and they want to just surf with their kids and do yoga and eat healthy food and meditate. And that's the beautiful kind of dichotomy of Nosara. However, there is also this underside of it of people who are living a spiritual life, but I would also say living a life of minimalism, almost like kind of hiding from reality or escaping the responsibilities of having a normal job or some sort of career because they can just live a very simple, basic life there in the jungle. During my time there, I made a lot of amazing friends who I love dearly, who were so supportive of my journey, and also many friends who had come down on my retreats, discovered this magical little beach town called Nosara, and I'd say there's probably been at least 12 or 14 friends who have come on my retreats and ended up buying a home there because they just fell in love with the community the same way I did. And I could say that after spending 5 years down there, Nosara definitely gave me what I needed, which was the space and the stillness to really go within without all the distractions of the Western world and the action of a big city, and just spend time alone on the beach with my dog, just meditating on the beach, playing in the ocean, watching every sunset. And it brought me so much clarity and allowed me to discover myself on a deeper level, and really helped me to get clear on what is my purpose, what is my future vision, and what is it that I want to create with my life. And as much as Nosara has been very nurturing and very supportive of this journey, there came a moment where I knew okay, it's time to go. And that moment came when I realized that Nosara and Costa Rica and many tropical destinations like this have a very strong feminine energy. You're surrounded by Mother Nature, which of course is the divine feminine, with the ocean and the mountains and the birds and the jungle and all those elements. So it's a very flowy, very high vibe lifestyle, but at the same time, it lacks a certain masculine energy of make shit happen, get things going, getting up early, hustling, grinding. and then still finding that balance of going to surf or going to play in the ocean or hike or, take a nap or whatever. It's about finding that balance. And I found that being in Nosara, partly because of the heat, partly because of how relaxed and chill everyone was, and then also just the inconvenience and the frustration of trying to make things happen due to just power outages and inconsistent Wi-Fi and just people overall being pretty flaky down there. I knew that I needed to leave and go and be in an environment where I had like that get shit done, make it happen energy. And every year I would dip back into Toronto or Miami or visit a big city, and I could feel like I just had a different energy in those cities. I felt motivated, I felt inspired. So I knew that, okay, there's certain environments that bring out different qualities in me. And this is very important to understand, because if you're feeling unmotivated or stagnant, you feel it's hard to feel inspired, it very well could be that your environment is not supportive of the vision or the plan that you have for your life. And, I'll be honest, I like getting dressed up. I like eating in fancy restaurants. I like driving a nice car. There are parts of the old me, I would say, that are very much still within me and always will be. Like, if I'm being honest, yeah, I'm pretty bougie and I'm okay with that, and it's about finding that balance and liking those nice things, the luxury things, the 5-star hotels and all that, but at the same time, not needing it. Wanting it because it makes you happy, but not needing it because it defines you. And I think that's a big distinction between the lifestyle I lived before and the superficial sort of image I projected versus what I know I like now because I like it. And in Nosara, it's shorts, tank tops, flip-flops, there's some nice restaurants and spots, but it's not what you get in other cities. So I knew that there was a part of me that wasn't being nourished because I was just living this Pura Vida kind of jungle hippie life. And I found that often when I was in other cities, I felt more inspired and I felt more happy. So when I decided it was time to go, I wasn't sure exactly where that would be. I've lived in Miami off and on since 1997. So I thought, let's go try Miami, because Miami's changed a lot since COVID, with thousands and thousands of people moving there from other parts of the US, moving from Europe. And it's changed, and there is like a mindfulness and wellness scene developed there. So I thought, hey, I'll give that a shot. I spent June and July there last year. However, the energy of Miami is just too intense. And Miami's gotten so freaking expensive, I couldn't even find a decent 1-bedroom apartment to rent there for under $6,000. So I thought, okay, well, Miami's not it. And to be honest, during high season, it's just too chaotic of an energy. Although I have lots of amazing friends there and I was leading breath work and meeting the community, Miami just wasn't it either. So I went back to Toronto for a little while, and I actually really loved being back there. I never thought I would spend a winter back in Canada, but when I couldn't find an apartment in Miami and I wasn't sure where to go next, I ended up renting a beautiful home in Collingwood for the winter and really, really loved it. And I like to say I was in monk mode, where for 5 months I was in Collingwood. It was me and my dog. I was focusing on work, my training, my own practices, and it was a really, really productive time for me. And I loved being in one location in nature for 5 months. So that's something I definitely feel I'm going to do every year, because it was super productive for my work, but also just very nourishing for my soul. However, after being in Collingwood for 5 months, I knew okay, it's time to get out there, time to explore. So I thought, where could it be? Maybe it's Austin, maybe it's San Diego, maybe it's Medellin, Colombia. So I went to each place to check them out. And San Diego, I love a lot, but the West Coast and the time zone just doesn't work for me. If San Diego was on the East Coast, it would be a no-brainer, but that 3-hour time difference, no bueno. And then we spent a few weeks in Austin, Texas, and a lot of people in the coaching, podcast, wellness space are in Austin. So I thought, let's go back and check it out, because there a few years ago for an Aubrey Marcus event, but it was February and it was cold, and everybody told me, you got to come back when it's warm. So we went back when it was warm. And Austin's slogan is keep Austin weird. And they nailed that, because Austin is freaking weird. It's probably the most eclectic city I've ever seen, where it's just like anything goes there. It's I would say, as a city going through a transition, going from this kind of like rural Texas city, and now it's being infiltrated by people from California, and people from other parts of the US, and even other parts of the world are coming to Austin, because it's a pretty open-minded city. However, Austin, too much driving, it takes a long time to get from place to place. So after, a few weeks, we bounced. We were supposed to stay there 2 months. After 3 weeks, we were like, no, it's time to go. Because after spending 3 weeks in Medellin, Colombia, it checked a lot of the boxes for me, which is nature, great weather, beautiful landscape with the elements and the amenities of a big city, but surrounded by nature, being able to wake up to the sounds of birds and seeing just like lush jungle everywhere, which is where we are right now. We came back to Medellin, Colombia after being here in March for 3 weeks. Then we went to Miami for some events, San Diego for a conference, LA for some podcasts, and then to Austin after 3 weeks. We're like, you know what? Let's just go back to Medellin. So back here now, and comparing Medellin to somewhere like Nosara, it's like apples and oranges, although like they're both fruits. Medellin just has so much more to offer, and it's like literally half the price. That was the other thing about Nosara. The price of everything in Nosara is ridiculous. Like you're paying $7.50 US for a cappuccino. Like we're in Costa Rica. They grow the beans in that mountain. How is a cappuccino $7.50? But they charge that much because they can. So I feel like Nosara is overpriced. I feel like it's gotten way too busy. It's not the same sleepy little beach town I fell in love with 5 years ago. Will I go back? I don't know yet. Nosara was always a vision I had for where I would go, where I'd want to raise my children, buy some land, build my dream home, and really just make that my forever place. And I don't know that it's that anymore. I'm not writing Nosara off completely, but I do want to spend more time here in Medellin, see what the real estate opportunity is, and see if maybe this could be where I would build my retreat center, build my conscious community, and then make home here. I'm still figuring out, still learning about it, but I do think I'll definitely come back here this winter to see what it could be. And I want you to know all of this because I know many people are considering leaving Canada or leaving US, and you're questioning what it could be like to go live somewhere else. And I want you to know that you don't have to pack up your life, sell off everything, and move like I did. You can pack up your home for a few months and go and try living in a new country for a little while. I know obviously if you've got kids, it could be challenging, but you could always homeschool them, or there's always schools that you can, roll them in part-time. But it's worth exploring because the housing prices in Canada are insane. With the political and economic situation in US, it's crazy and not going to get any better anytime soon. So when you start thinking about where in the world can you live, that'd be safe, that's great quality of life, that's affordable, that has good weather, there aren't a lot of options. And so far, I've definitely identified Medellin, Colombia, and Nosara, or Costa Rica. I won't say Nosara because it's ridiculously expensive, as potential options for people to relocate if they want to live a more natural life in nature with great weather. So I want you to know it is possible. You just got to come up with a plan. You got to be curious. You got to put yourself out there, go give it a try. And even if it's only for a few months, you at least get a feel for it. And even if that location isn't the one, it'll at least open you up to the possibility of what it could be like to explore other places. So ultimately, with my travels and experiencing different locations, the question of where will home be is yet to be answered. But what I do know is I want to be with a like-minded community. I want great weather. I want affordability, good value for the dollar. I want nature, I want delicious food, and I want a high vibration. And there are a few more places on the planet that I'm gonna go check out, but right now I gotta say Medellin's kind of up there. And unless things change in Nosara for the better, I don't know that I'll be going back anytime soon. But it's been an interesting journey, and I know many of you who know me, have been following me for a while, have been wondering why did I leave Nosara? Because I was very, very big on it when I moved there, and still do love it in many ways. It's just it's changed, not necessarily for the better. And if things don't get back on track there, yeah, I don't know if that's the spot that I'm going to want to call home. Anyways, I just wanted to update you and share a bit about my journey with all of you. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions about my travels and the different cities I've been to, then drop a comment or send me a DM, and I would love to answer any questions I can provide you with. If you found value from this and you want to follow more of my adventures, then hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you know when I post a new video. I'm going to be dropping a long format video once a week. So love to hear your thoughts and questions or comments. All right, thanks for watching.